Video games are history, and just like history, they need to be preserved. Have you seen all of the games which aren't available on any storefronts anymore? Some of these games can't be bought, and even if you still have them, some may not even be playable, which is really funny because most of these games are incredibly popular, and people still love them to this day. So why then can't we experience them as we did in the past? First of all, these games hold immense meaning to a lot of people around the world. It doesn't matter if the game actually has a thought-provoking nature or if it's just a comfort game, because it still matters to somebody. I imagine that you too, if your childhood game was taken off all storefronts and you couldn't find it anywhere, well, I know you'd be sad. It's like a family heirloom, which, if it breaks, well, it's a pretty big deal. And although I don't see games as important as that, they still are serious to someone, despite the nature of the game itself. A second reason is that people actually spent money on these games. Most of the time they weren't free, or even if they were gifted, someone had to spend money on them. And back then, it wasn't really advertised as being a license that you were purchasing to play a game. It was actual property, and they never made it clear that if the game had online features that you are one day just going to be removed from the list. You won't be able to play it anymore, which to me and many other people in the world also think the same. It's really just false advertising, and measures should be taken to restore these games to their rightful owners. Thirdly, and this goes for games which may still be available but also liable to be taken down in the future, they should be available for aspiring game developers to actually experience and learn from. They need to learn from these masterpieces in order to perfect their own games and to learn. If they aren't available anywhere, then how are they going to learn what a good game looks like, especially if the game made incredible shifts in gaming in general? My fourth reason also ties into my first one somewhat. It's that a lot of these games bring people comfort, and it's really immoral to take these games away from someone. People can have all types of comfort games. They're not just Stardew Valley or really relaxing games. To some people, it may be games such as The Crew, which have been taken off. And much like a movie or TV show which brings us comfort, as we all know, I'm pretty sure we've all experienced this. If video games bring comfort, they should also be treated the same way. They should be kept. A lot of this is because most comfort games are quite old to some people, especially because they used to play them whilst they were growing up, which gives them a lot of meaning and also a lot of pain that you wouldn't expect if they were ever taken down. It's like erasing a piece of someone's history, not just collective history, but someone's personal history. And furthermore, just like movies can give somebody a new lens to view life through, maybe a psychological breakthrough where something just clicks, I believe games do the same exact thing, because they're essentially, let's talk about like really moving games. They are essentially just interactive movies. They are filled with all this hard work, all these narratives. They are fully fleshed out worlds that sometimes movies can't even achieve, and it might actually turn people into better versions of themselves. And my final reason is that just as other forms of art are meticulously maintained so that we don't lose them to the tides of time, I believe that games should be preserved in the same manner, because they are art in and of themselves. They are art that people have made. For example, in the UK, in Article 10 of the Human Rights Act of 1998, it says that video games are protected by freedom of expression, just like movies or books, because they are considered a form of art, similar to movies or books. And this holds true for the US also, I think. because they have a similar act. A lot of these truly moving experiences are actually tailored for humans, and we don't want to forget about them. We want to keep them. We want to show them to our children so that they can develop in a way we deem is right, just like we might have developed because of such an art form. If you think about a situation where movies might be removed, that would surely cause severe uproar in the public, and I believe that video games should be treated in the same manner because they are art. And I am really, really glad that people from all over the world, well, the UK and the European Union, have come together to vote for the Stop Killing Games movement, which was started by YouTuber Scott Ross in 2024 after the shutdown of the crew servers, the original one. And this movement sadly didn't have any luck towards the start with raising petitions. However, as more YouTubers such as Moist Critical and some ordinary gamers started to cover it, more people started to vote, and overnight it seemed to have been a great success. It worked, and now it stands tall at around 1,400,000 signatures in Europe and almost 200,000 signatures in the UK, considering that at the start of July this movement was only at around 150,000 signatures in Europe, where it now has 1.4 million signatures. It has been a success, but we do not know yet if the EU will pass these laws. And these laws state that if a game reaches end of life, then the companies in charge of it should provide players with the ability to make their own servers or to keep on playing the game without online features, which may require you to connect to the company's servers, which won't be available anymore. The removal of the original crew game may have started this. However, there are many more games now which will be taking action and will sadly be removed. Let's go through the current list of upcoming discontinuations. These include Madden NFL 22, Dauntless, which will be shut down on May 29th, 2026, Multiversus on May 30th, 2026, Anthem in January of 2026, and Need for Speed Rivals on October 7th this year. Now, some of you may have loved these games, and some of you may have hated them, but the point still stands. These games are history, human history, and they deserve to be preserved as such. Here's a fun fact. The milestone has drawn political support, including that of Nicolae Ștefănuță, Vice President of the European Parliament, who publicly endorsed the campaign and emphasized that games sold should belong to customers. And to end this video, because the petitions are now closed, I urge all of you to do your part by just speaking out about it, making sure that everyone knows how big of a deal this is, not just for you, not just for them, for everyone in the world and for our history as human beings.